Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Audra's manipulation pushes Claire to the edge of sanity. The Young and the Restless spoilers and updates tease that Audra Charles, Zuleyka Silver, might manipulate Claire Newman, Haley Aaron, into believing she's losing her grip on reality. Could Audra's adversary find herself doubting her own sanity due to a fresh scheme to undermine Claire? Want more of The Young and the Restless? Get updates on the latest news about The Young and the Restless, straight to your inbox. We use your personal data for interest-based advertising, as outlined in our privacy notice. What is this? Audra was livid over Holden's revelations. Audra was absolutely livid regarding Holden Novak's, Nathan Owen's, choice to reveal at least a portion of the events that transpired in Los Angeles. While Holden refrained from disclosing the most scandalous aspects of the tale, he did share the drama surrounding the stolen cashier's check, which inevitably stirred up some trouble for Audra. Nevertheless, Audra is determined not to show any signs of fear when Claire hurls threats her way in the episode airing on November 17th. Instead, Audra will retaliate with her own threats directed at Claire, making it abundantly clear that she is not someone to be trifled with. This confrontation will also serve as a reminder from Audra that Claire's past is far from pristine either. Audra will bring up Claire's past. Audra will remind everyone about the time Claire attempted to take the lives of her entire family, which suggests that the show might be revisiting Claire's troubled past for a significant reason. What is this? Following a confrontation between Audra and Claire, the spoilers for Y&R indicate that Audra will engage in some serious brainstorming on November 19th. During this time, Audra will contemplate her next strategic move and likely devise plans to outmaneuver Claire. Given the current situation, this could present a perfect chance for a gaslighting storyline. With Claire's background of mental health issues, Audra might take advantage of this vulnerability, attempting to convince Claire that she is losing her grip on reality. It wouldn't be too difficult for Audra to fabricate false evidence, perhaps suggesting that Jordan, Colleen Zenk, has mysteriously returned from the dead or something similar. Audra could gaslight Claire into believing Jordan's alive, sending her into a tailspin. Claire would absolutely lose her mind if she even entertained the thought that her devious Aunt Jordan had come back to wreak havoc on her and the loved ones she holds dear. Audra could easily manipulate Claire into believing this twisted scenario, effectively diverting her attention from all the Los Angeles drama that Audra desperately wants to keep hidden. At some point, Audra might even orchestrate a situation that makes it appear as though Claire has completely lost her grip on reality and has lashed out at her. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. Should Audra choose to pursue this vengeful strategy, she would undoubtedly discover numerous ways to portray Claire as spiraling into a troubling mental health crisis. What is this? Nevertheless, Audra is poised to make some significant changes to her approach against Claire, potentially unleashing some truly shocking news for her adversary. Be sure to catch up on everything happening with Y&R right now. Come back here often for The Young and the Restless spoilers, news, and updates. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Audra's manipulation pushes Claire to the edge of sanity. The turmoil surrounding Claire Grace has reached a boiling point in Genoa City, and Audra Charles seems determined to stir the pot until it overflows. Claire has been trying to rebuild her life, reclaim her identity, and forge meaningful connections after years of trauma, but Y&R appears ready to push her into one of the most intense psychological battles the show has seen in years. The cracks in Claire's foundation have been visible for weeks, but Audra's relentless targeting may be the force that pushes her dangerously close to the edge. What begins as emotional harassment could quickly turn into a full-scale breakdown, especially as Claire struggles to juggle family expectations, romantic complications, and the weight of a past that continues to haunt her no matter how many times she tries to bury it. For Audra, chaos is not just a tactic, it's entertainment. She has always been someone who thrives on power plays, back-channel manipulation, and getting under the skin of anyone she views as a threat or a pawn. And in Claire, Audra has found the perfect storm, a young woman desperate to prove herself yet still vulnerable enough for her deepest insecurities to be exploited by someone who knows exactly where to strike. Every jab, every subtle insult, Every calculated comment about Claire's worthiness seems crafted to destabilize her further. With each passing please subscribe and like the video before continuing. Day, the pressure gets tighter, the room gets smaller, and Claire's grasp on emotional stability becomes increasingly tenuous. But Claire is not the same easily controlled victim she once was. She has grown stronger, smarter, and more determined to stand on her own, even as her past threatens to swallow her whole. That's exactly why Audra has zero interest in allowing her to become fully empowered. If Claire rises, Audra loses a convenient target, and possibly far more. The question now is how far Audra is willing to go to keep Claire in a weakened state and how deeply she intends to pry open old wounds. Audra has always shown a willingness to cross lines that others wouldn't even approach, and this may be her most brutal psychological campaign yet. As far as Claire's newly repaired relationships go, the Newman family has tried desperately to rally around her, but even their support may not be enough to shield her from the emotional ambush Audra is orchestrating. Victoria worries constantly about her daughter's fragile stability, while Cole remains on edge, fearing that someone like Audra could undo all the progress Claire has made. Nikki, despite her own battles, sees warning signs that others are missing. The Newmans, united or not, can only offer so much protection when the target is being attacked from every angle, and when the attacker is someone who loves to operate in the shadows where accountability rarely reaches. As Claire's family tries to help her adjust and heal, Claire is simultaneously navigating the pressures of living in a city where everyone has an opinion about her. Even at her strongest moments, she feels eyes watching her, whispers trailing her, and judgment waiting for her missteps. Audra uses this to her advantage, planting seeds of paranoia with surgical precision. Even small interactions leave Claire rattled. Every moment of self-doubt feels magnified, and Audra makes sure those doubts bloom into dangerous internal narratives. By preying on Claire's fears about not belonging, not being trusted, and not being normal, Audra sets the stage for a dramatic unraveling. The romantic subplot complicates everything further. Claire's growing bond with Kyle Abbott has offered her a soft place to land, a stabilizing influence, and a ray of hope amid ongoing turmoil. But the very nature of that relationship makes Claire even more vulnerable to manipulation. Audra knows how significant Kyle is to Claire's emotional balance, so she positions herself as an obstacle, a provocateur, and a disruptor. Whether she toys with Kyle directly or simply poisons Claire's perception of her own worth, Audra ensures her presence looms over every interaction between the young couple. Claire's emerging feelings are powerful, but fragile, and Audra wields that fragility like a weapon. The emotional tension escalates even further when Claire begins internalizing Audra's constant digs. Her resolve, once sturdy, becomes shaky. The smallest setbacks feel catastrophic. Audra makes sure that Claire's victories feel hollow and her mistakes feel catastrophic. Even when Claire begins taking steps to assert independence, Audra is right there to undermine her confidence, whispering metaphorical poison into her ear. This psychological tug-of-war isn't just damaging, it's dangerous, and it pushes Claire dangerously close to a breaking point she has been desperately trying to avoid since the moment she stepped foot in Genoa City. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. Inside Claire's mind, conflicting voices grow louder day by day. She wants to believe she is strong, that she is worthy of love, trust, and redemption. But Audra is relentless in exploiting the parts of Claire that are still healing, the fear of rejection, the nightmares of past manipulation, and the lingering guilt over things she cannot undo. Those vulnerabilities create openings that Audra eagerly slips into, twisting Claire's emotions until she feels isolated, misunderstood, and on the verge of losing control. The more Claire tries to steady herself, the more off-balance she becomes, creating a self-perpetuating cycle of doubt and panic. Kyle sees the signs and tries to intervene, offering reassurance, presence, and unwavering support. But even Kyle, with all his empathy, cannot fight a psychological battle he cannot see. Claire hides most of the torment, afraid of appearing weak, afraid of scaring him away, and terrified that Audra's words may contain fragments of truth. As Audra's attacks intensify, Claire begins withdrawing emotionally. She fears burdening Kyle and disappointing the Newmans. She feels caught between proving herself and protecting the people she cares about, even as her mental footing becomes less secure. This internal implosion becomes fertile ground for a dramatic twist, the kind of storyline Y&R loves to unleash when a character reaches a crossroads. Claire's unraveling does not go unnoticed. Nikki becomes increasingly concerned as she observes subtle shifts, Claire's pacing, her trembling hands, her distracted responses, and the flashes of panic in her eyes. Newer behaviors raise alarms, forgetting conversations, misplacing items, or reacting emotionally to harmless comments. Claire insists she's fine, but anyone watching closely knows she isn't. And Audra, fully aware of this, continues pressing her advantage. With each cutting remark and each manipulative exchange, Audra tightens the noose around Claire's psyche. What makes this storyline so compelling is how realistic the psychological warfare feels. Trauma survivors often struggle with external triggers, internal conflict, and the fear of spiraling backward. Audra embodies the very kind of person who can weaponize those emotional weak spots with frightening ease. However, Audra's motives aren't purely about cruelty. She sees Claire as a threat, to her influence, to her alliances, and to her growing entanglement with Kyle. If Claire fully stabilizes and wins Kyle's heart, Audra loses control, power, and strategic advantage. That possibility is unacceptable to someone as calculating as her. So she devises a plan not just to rattle Claire but to dismantle her completely, hoping to push her far enough that Kyle backs away and the Newmans begin doubting Claire's readiness for independence. Audra's brilliance lies in her ability to inflict damage without leaving evidence. She doesn't need grand gestures to destabilize Claire, she just needs a steady drip of emotional venom. The breaking point looms closer when Claire begins questioning her own reality. Audra's subtle gaslighting tactics convince Claire that she's misremembering conversations or overreacting to situations. Claire starts wondering if she really is the unstable girl Audra paints her as, or worse, the dangerous one her past suggests. The fear of losing control again becomes overwhelming. The internal struggle peaks during moments when Claire finds herself imagining worst-case scenarios or fearing that she may snap under pressure. Those scenes open the door to a powerful emotional arc. Y&R is clearly building toward a storyline that will test every part of Claire's identity and forcing her to confront whether she can truly overcome her past or if she will be dragged back into the darkness she fought so hard to escape. This emotional spiral is certain to have ripple effects throughout Genoa City. If Claire reaches a crisis point, the fallout could affect multiple families, relationships, and alliances. Will the Newmans blame themselves for not protecting her better? Will Kyle hold himself responsible for not seeing the signs earlier? And will Audra feign innocence, playing the role of the concerned bystander even as she secretly celebrates the chaos she created? One thing is certain, the truth will eventually emerge, and when it does, Audra will face the wrath of a town that does not take kindly to those who prey on the vulnerable. But by then, the damage may be irreversible, and Claire's future may be altered in devastating ways. As the tension builds, Y&R seems poised to deliver one of its most emotionally explosive arcs of the year. Claire's fight for stability has always been uphill, but now the incline is steeper than ever, and Audra is greasing the slope. The young woman who has been fighting so hard to reclaim her identity may soon be pushed to the brink of losing herself again. Whether this results in a dramatic breakdown, a shocking disappearance, or a fierce rise from the ashes transformation remains to be seen. But the road ahead is dangerous, and Claire must find her inner strength before Audra's manipulation drives her into a darkness she may not return from. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Audra's manipulation pushes Claire to the edge of sanity. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. Genoa City is bracing for another tense showdown as Audra Charles continues her relentless psychological assault on Claire Grace, and the stakes are higher than ever. In the episode airing on November 17th, viewers will witness a pivotal moment that could redefine the power dynamic between the two women. Claire, pushed to the edge by weeks of manipulation, confronts Audra in a scene filled with raw emotion, frustration, and palpable danger. But in true Audra fashion, she shows no flicker of fear as Claire hurls threats and accusations her way. The tension in the air is thick enough to cut with a knife, and every line of dialogue feels charged with potential consequences that could reverberate throughout Genoa City. Audra's ability to remain unshaken in the face of Claire's fury is a testament to her cunning and experience. She has always been the kind of person who understands that fear is a weapon, and once her opponent senses hesitation or doubt, the psychological edge shifts irrevocably. Claire, fueled by righteous anger and mounting desperation, expects to intimidate Audra, to force her into a reaction, or at least to make her waver. Instead, Audra maintains a composed, calculating demeanor, silently reinforcing her control over the situation while letting Claire exhaust herself. It is a display of cold-blooded strategy that only magnifies the pressure on Claire, reminding her that no matter how loud her words or how sharp her accusations, Audra will not be moved. For Claire, this moment is devastating. Every ounce of emotional energy she channels into her threat seems to bounce off Audra's unyielding wall of composure. The clash is both external and internal. While Claire lashes out, she is simultaneously wrestling with her own insecurities and doubts. This is the episode where the psychological toll of Audra's manipulation becomes nearly unbearable, and viewers will witness the thin line Claire walks between asserting herself and unraveling completely. The mental strain is evident in her trembling hands, tight jaw, and the way her eyes dart for any sign that Audra might crack. But there is none. Audra is a master of control, and in this confrontation, she demonstrates precisely why she has been such a formidable presence in Claire's life. Meanwhile, the reactions of the other characters add layers of complexity to the unfolding drama. Kyle Abbott, ever vigilant and emotionally invested in Claire's well-being, watches helplessly from the sidelines. His own attempts to intervene are hampered by the fact that Claire refuses to admit how deeply Audra's manipulation has affected her. The young couple's relationship, already delicate due to Claire's past traumas, faces a critical test in this episode. Kyle's anxiety is palpable as he witnesses Audra's steady, unflinching control over Claire, and fans will no doubt feel the tension in his silent frustration and growing fear that he cannot shield her from the damage being inflicted. Victoria Newman's maternal instincts also come to the forefront as she monitors the confrontation. Victoria has always been protective of her daughter, and seeing Claire struggle to assert herself without success triggers a mix of anger and helplessness. The episode airing on November 17 gives viewers a glimpse into Victoria's inner turmoil, a mother's frustration at witnessing her child's suffering, coupled with the worry that her efforts to safeguard Claire may be insufficient. This dynamic adds emotional weight to the scene, as the audience experiences the confrontation not only through Claire's perspective but also through the eyes of those who care about her the most. Audra, however, thrives on this multifaceted tension. Every glance, every word, every subtle gesture is a calculated move in her psychological chess game. By remaining impervious to Claire's threats, she ensures that Claire questions her own effectiveness, her own sanity, and her capacity to withstand the pressure. The effect is disorienting, leaving Claire second-guessing every decision she makes while reinforcing Audra's dominance. It is a masterclass in manipulation, showing viewers that sometimes the most powerful form of control is the ability to remain calm in the eye of the storm, letting the storm rage without succumbing to it. As the confrontation escalates, the episode hints at potential tipping points in Claire's emotional journey. Will this encounter push her over the edge, leading to a dramatic breakdown, or will it catalyze a moment of clarity where she realizes her own strength and resourcefulness? Y&R is known for crafting multi-layered storylines, and this November 17 episode is no exception. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. Audra's unshakable composure forces Claire to confront not only the immediate threat of manipulation but also the deeper questions about her identity, resilience, and the limits of her own emotional endurance. The interplay between Claire's vulnerability and Audra's calculated dominance highlights a broader theme that has resonated throughout the series: the struggle between control and autonomy. Claire's journey is emblematic of anyone who has faced sustained emotional pressure from a manipulative figure, and her attempts to assert herself against Audra reflect a universal desire for self-determination. Audra, as the antagonist, embodies the obstacles that make self-assertion so challenging: the relentless questioning, the gaslighting, the subtle undermining of confidence. The November 17th episode captures this dynamic in vivid, heart-stopping detail, ensuring that viewers remain on the edge of their seats as they watch Claire fight for her sanity. Beyond the immediate confrontation, the repercussions of Audra's tactics are likely to ripple throughout Genoa City in unexpected ways. Relationships may strain under the weight of Claire's emotional instability, alliances could shift as others react to the tension, and hidden agendas might surface as a result of the chaos. The psychological impact on Claire is central, but the narrative also allows room for secondary characters to explore their responses to the high-stakes drama. Whether Kyle takes decisive action, Victoria intervenes more forcefully, or other characters seize the opportunity to influence events, the episode sets the stage for cascading storylines that will dominate the weeks to come. Audra's brilliance lies in her ability to manipulate not only Claire but also the environment around her. Every subtle glance, every carefully chosen word, and every moment of stoicism is designed to amplify the tension, making Claire question the world around her as much as herself. She does not need to engage in. The emotional resonance of this storyline is further enhanced by the pacing and delivery of the scenes. The writers of Y&R have crafted a narrative rhythm that alternates between explosive confrontations and quieter, introspective moments. In these quieter intervals, viewers glimpse the internal struggle of Claire, the doubt, the fear, and the fleeting moments of hope that keep her grounded. Audra's steady presence serves as a counterpoint, a reminder that control is often exercised in silence and through subtlety rather than grand gestures. The contrast between Claire's visible turmoil and Audra's calm demeanor amplifies the psychological tension, creating a compelling viewing experience that resonates with both longtime fans and casual viewers alike. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. By showing no signs of fear, Audra challenges Claire in a fundamental way. She is not merely an antagonist, she is a mirror reflecting Claire's insecurities, a test of her emotional fortitude, and a catalyst for growth. The confrontation on November 17th is therefore not just a battle of words but a crucible in which Claire's character is forged. The audience is invited to witness the intense pressures of manipulation, the danger of unchecked psychological warfare, and the resilience required to navigate such challenges. As the episode progresses, it becomes clear that the stakes are more than just personal, they are emblematic of the struggles inherent in any fight for autonomy against a relentless adversary. The fallout from this confrontation will reverberate in multiple directions. Claire's decisions in the aftermath may redefine her relationships, influence her career, and determine the trajectory of her personal growth. Kyle's protective instincts, Victoria's maternal guidance, and even the broader Newman family's reactions will play pivotal roles in shaping the consequences of this pivotal moment. Audra's manipulation may have sparked the confrontation, but the outcome will hinge on Claire's capacity to reclaim control, assert her agency, and resist being defined by the actions of others. In conclusion, the November 17th episode of The Young and the Restless promises a high-stakes emotional showdown that will leave viewers on the edge of their seats. Audra's unflinching composure in the face of Claire's threats underscores her formidable skill as a manipulator, while Claire's struggle highlights the vulnerability and resilience inherent in her character. This confrontation is more than a mere clash, it is a turning point that tests Claire's limits, challenges the dynamics of relationships in Genoa City, and sets the stage for dramatic developments in the episodes to follow. Fans can expect heart-pounding tension, emotional revelations, and a storyline that delves deep into the psyche of two of the show's most compelling characters, ensuring that November 17th will be a date remembered for its intensity, drama, and unforgettable confrontation. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Audra will bring up Claire's past. The simmering tension between Audra Charles and Claire Grace is about to reach new, harrowing heights as Audra, unrelenting in her psychological warfare, plans to weaponize Claire's past in the episodes following November 17th. Claire, already on the edge after weeks of manipulation and relentless attacks on her confidence, may find herself confronting demons she thought she had left behind. Audra's strategy is as subtle as it is cruel, by dredging up painful memories and using them as leverage, she aims not just to provoke Claire's anger but to destabilize her very sense of self. This is manipulation at its most insidious, a calculated psychological assault that promises to push Claire to the brink of emotional collapse. Audra has long shown a talent for understanding what makes people tick, and in Claire, she has found a target whose past is fraught with trauma, betrayal, and moments of self-doubt. By bringing these old wounds to the surface, Audra ensures that Claire will feel vulnerable, exposed, and overwhelmed. Even minor triggers could spark major emotional reactions, and please subscribe and like the video before continuing. Audra is fully aware of the power she wields. Every conversation becomes a minefield, every glance carries potential accusation, every word could reopen scars Claire has fought so hard to heal. The brilliance of Audra's strategy lies in her precision. She does not need to physically threaten Claire, she simply needs to remind her of the mistakes, betrayals, and insecurities that continue to haunt her. For Claire, this tactic is particularly devastating because her past is intimately tied to her identity. She has spent years trying to reclaim her life, to establish herself as someone independent, strong, and capable of making her own choices. Yet Audra's relentless focus on Claire's former vulnerabilities threatens to erase that progress. By repeatedly referencing past incidents, whether they involve relationships gone awry, misjudgments, or moments of emotional weakness, Audra forces Claire to relive them in vivid detail. The effect is cumulative and corrosive, a psychological erosion that leaves Claire questioning her worth, her strength, and her ability to maintain control over her own life. Audra's tactics are more than just a personal attack, they are an orchestrated campaign designed to isolate Claire from her support system. By highlighting moments of past failure, Audra subtly suggests that Claire is incapable of handling current challenges. She aims to seed doubt not only in Claire's mind but also in the perceptions of those around her. Friends, lovers, and family members may start to wonder if Claire is truly as stable as she appears, which could lead to increased isolation and emotional vulnerability. Audra understands that manipulation works best when it is multi-layered, affecting both the target's internal confidence and the external environment that surrounds them. Kyle Abbott, who has been a source of strength for Claire, faces his own dilemma as he witnesses this psychological warfare unfold. He knows that confronting Audra directly could backfire, giving her more ammunition, yet standing by and watching Claire be tormented feels impossible. Kyle's protective instincts are heightened as he sees how Audra uses Claire's history against her, playing on insecurities that even he sometimes cannot fully comprehend. His struggle to find a balance between offering support and avoiding enabling further manipulation adds an additional layer of emotional tension, making their relationship even more compelling to viewers. Victoria Newman and Nikki Newman are also acutely aware of Audra's dangerous game. They understand that referencing Claire's past is a deliberate tactic meant to weaken her emotionally. Their challenge lies in shielding Claire without exacerbating the situation or giving Audra the upper hand. The tension between intervention and restraint creates a charged atmosphere, as every word and action could tip the delicate balance between empowerment and further destabilization. As Claire's emotional state becomes more precarious, the stakes for everyone in her orbit escalate, setting the stage for dramatic confrontations, emotional breakthroughs, and potential fallout that could affect multiple storylines across Genoa City. Audra's approach is methodical. She does not just casually bring up the past, she uses it strategically, layering her words to maximize impact. A single comment about a past misstep may trigger memories of failure, rejection, or betrayal, while a subtle reminder of past insecurities can undermine Claire's confidence in herself and in her decisions. This psychological layering ensures that Claire is constantly on edge, second-guessing her own judgments and struggling to maintain emotional equilibrium. For viewers, this creates a tension-filled spectacle that is as riveting as it is heartbreaking. The implications of Audra's strategy are far-reaching. Claire's relationships, particularly with Kyle, may face strain as she internalizes Audra's attacks. Her confidence in professional and personal decisions could waver, making her susceptible to additional manipulation or missteps. At the same time, Audra's unrelenting pressure tests Claire's resilience, offering an opportunity for growth and eventual empowerment. The narrative arc is set up to explore the complexities of trauma, resilience, and the battle between external pressure and inner strength, giving viewers a deeply emotional and psychologically engaging storyline to follow. Audra's manipulation also invites viewers to examine the ethics of her actions. While she is undoubtedly a villain in this scenario, her intelligence, strategic planning, and understanding of human psychology make her an intriguing character to watch. By highlighting Claire's past, Audra is not only attempting to gain control in the moment, she is shaping the trajectory of future events, influencing relationships, and testing the limits of Claire's endurance. This calculated approach makes Audra both terrifying and fascinating, as she embodies the idea that the most effective manipulation often comes from subtlety and precision rather than overt aggression. Claire, meanwhile, must navigate a precarious path. She needs to find ways to assert her identity and reclaim control while facing reminders of past vulnerabilities that could easily tip her into self-doubt or despair. Every interaction with Audra becomes a test of emotional intelligence, resilience, and strategic thinking. Claire's responses, whether moments of defiance, retreat, or introspection, provide viewers with a window into her complex psyche, offering an emotionally rich exploration of how individuals respond to manipulation and psychological pressure. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. The ripple effects of Audra bringing up Claire's past extend beyond their direct confrontations. Secondary characters in Genoa City, including friends, family members, and rivals, may respond in ways that compound the drama. Questions of loyalty, trust, and protection arise as those around Claire are forced to decide whether to intervene, support, or step back. Audra's ability to influence not only her target but also the surrounding environment underscores the sophistication of her manipulative tactics and elevates the stakes for all involved. As this storyline develops, viewers can expect to see a nuanced portrayal of how trauma and manipulation intersect. Claire's struggle against Audra's psychological tactics is not just a battle between two individuals, it is a deeper examination of human vulnerability, resilience, and the capacity for recovery. By revisiting the past, Audra forces Claire to confront unresolved issues, confront lingering fears, and ultimately determine whether she can rise above external pressures to reclaim her sense of self. The tension between vulnerability and empowerment, past and present, weakness and resilience, forms the emotional core of this compelling narrative arc. In conclusion, the decision by Audra to bring up Claire's past sets the stage for one of the most emotionally charged and psychologically intricate storylines in recent years on The Young and the Restless. It is a masterclass in manipulation, tension, and character development, showcasing the lengths to which a cunning antagonist can go to destabilize a determined but vulnerable protagonist. As Claire faces reminders of her history, viewers will witness not only her struggle to maintain composure but also the potential for growth, empowerment, and ultimate triumph. Audra's calculated cruelty highlights the stakes for all involved, making this a must-watch storyline that promises suspense, drama, and unforgettable confrontations that will shape the future of Genoa City for weeks to come. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Audra could gaslight Claire into believing Jordan's alive, sending her into a tailspin. The psychological warfare between Audra Charles and Claire Grace is about to reach a level of intensity that could redefine Claire's entire emotional world in Genoa City. Sources reveal that Audra may take her manipulative tactics to a new extreme, gaslighting Claire into believing that her supposedly deceased son, Jordan, is alive. If this shocking revelation comes to fruition, it would send Claire spiraling into a whirlwind of hope, despair, confusion, and doubt, pushing her to the edge of sanity. For viewers, this storyline promises a roller coaster of emotions, blending heart-stopping suspense with the raw, relatable anguish of a mother grappling with impossible circumstances. Audra's potential move to gaslight Claire is not merely an impulsive act of cruelty, it is a calculated strategy designed to destabilize her opponent entirely. Claire's love for Jordan is a cornerstone of her identity, and her grief over his loss has shaped many of her recent decisions, interactions, and relationships. By planting the seed that Jordan might still be alive, Audra would be exploiting the deepest possible vulnerability, forcing Claire to question everything she thought she knew about her past, her reality, and her ability to trust her own perceptions. The psychological stakes could not be higher, as Claire's fragile sense of emotional stability teeters on the precipice of a potential breakdown. For Claire, the possibility of Jordan being alive is both a lifeline and a weapon. On one hand, the hope of seeing her son again could ignite a surge of determination and courage, propelling her into action to uncover the truth. On the other hand, the confusion and emotional whiplash caused by Audra's manipulations could overwhelm her, leaving her indecisive, anxious, and vulnerable to further manipulation. The internal conflict that arises from such a scenario would provide some of the most compelling drama in recent years, allowing viewers to witness the full range of Claire's emotional resilience and fragility. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. Audra's expertise in psychological manipulation makes this scenario terrifyingly plausible. She has already demonstrated the ability to target Claire's insecurities, exploit past traumas, and maintain a facade of calm under pressure. Introducing the idea that Jordan might be alive would be the ultimate escalation, a maneuver calculated to push Claire's mind into a tailspin. This form of gaslighting is subtle yet devastating. Audra doesn't need to provide proof or evidence. By carefully planting doubt, asking suggestive questions, and framing conversations to imply hidden truths, she can make Claire second-guess her own memory, judgment, and sanity. The emotional tension would be unbearable, creating a scenario where Claire feels trapped between hope and despair, unable to distinguish reality from manipulation. Kyle Abbott, as Claire's anchor and emotional support, would be thrust into a complicated role. His desire to protect Claire would clash with the need to allow her autonomy in investigating the possibility that Jordan might still exist. Kyle's concern would intensify as he observes Claire vacillating between elation and despair, unable to fully trust her own instincts. This storyline could further test their relationship, highlighting the challenges of love under extreme psychological stress, and providing rich, emotionally charged content for viewers invested in their romance. The Newman family, particularly Victoria and Nikki, would also be deeply affected by this storyline. Their protective instincts would compel them to intervene, but their options are limited when the threat is intangible, manipulation and psychological warfare that leaves no physical trace. They must navigate a delicate balance, support Claire without enabling Audra's gaslighting or inadvertently escalating her emotional instability. The moral and emotional complexity of this scenario adds layers of intrigue, making it clear that every action, or inaction, could have long-lasting repercussions for multiple characters in Genoa City. Audra's motivations for potentially gaslighting Claire about Jordan being alive are multifaceted. Beyond the desire to dominate and destabilize, she may see this as a way to assert control over Kyle, test the loyalty of the Newman family, or manipulate other players in the city who are invested in Claire's emotional state. Her strategic brilliance lies in her ability to see the ripple effects of every move, anticipating how Claire, Kyle, Victoria, Nikki, and others will respond. By creating uncertainty about Jordan, Audra could orchestrate a chain reaction of tension, fear, and confrontation that affects the entire social and emotional landscape of Genoa City. The emotional consequences for Claire are staggering. Even a hint that Jordan might be alive would trigger a profound internal conflict, relief and hope intertwined with guilt and fear. She would relive memories of loss, regret, and past mistakes, while simultaneously confronting the tantalizing possibility of reunion. This duality, joy and anguish, hope and despair, would be heightened by Audra's constant presence, a shadow hovering over every interaction, subtly undermining confidence and distorting perception. Audra's gaslighting would be surgical in its precision, targeting Claire's deepest emotions and eroding her ability to rely on her own judgment. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. As Claire grapples with the possibility that her son is alive, viewers could expect to see her oscillate between extremes. Moments of determination and action could be punctuated by episodes of vulnerability, confusion, and emotional exhaustion. This psychological roller coaster would not only heighten tension but also allow for profound character development. Claire's inner resilience, her capacity for critical thinking, and her emotional intelligence would all be tested under unprecedented pressure. The storyline offers a rare opportunity to explore the nuances of trauma, grief, and manipulation, while also providing suspenseful, edge-of-your-seat entertainment. Audra's potential gaslighting is also likely to affect the larger dynamics of Genoa City. Secondary characters, friends, colleagues, and adversaries, could be drawn into the unfolding chaos either by attempting to intervene, taking sides, or inadvertently enabling the manipulation. The emotional contagion of Claire's reaction could ripple outward, impacting relationships, alliances, and the social fabric of the city. Audra's strategic approach ensures that her actions are never isolated, they reverberate, creating tension and drama that extend far beyond her immediate conflict with Claire. The suspense inherent in this storyline hinges on uncertainty. Audra does not need to provide concrete evidence of Jordan's existence. The mere suggestion, the carefully planted doubt, and the timing of her revelations are enough to destabilize Claire. This ambiguity serves a dual purpose. It heightens the drama for viewers while also giving Claire the narrative space to demonstrate courage, resourcefulness, and resilience. The tension is amplified by the fact that Claire's friends and family may not always know how to intervene effectively, creating a layered web of psychological stakes that is both compelling and emotionally immersive. In addition, the potential gaslighting introduces ethical and moral questions. Audra's willingness to exploit the grief of a mother for strategic gain underscores her role as a manipulative antagonist, while Claire's responses reveal the complexity of human emotion when faced with hope, doubt, and despair simultaneously. Viewers are invited to consider not only the consequences of deception but also the resilience required to confront it, creating an emotionally rich and thought-provoking narrative that elevates the stakes beyond simple conflict. The November episodes promise to explore this storyline with intensity, pacing, and a deep focus on character psychology. Audra's mastery of manipulation, Claire's struggle to maintain equilibrium, and the responses of Kyle, Victoria, Nikki, and other Genoa City residents all combine to create a multidimensional narrative. The gaslighting of Claire regarding Jordan's fate is not simply a plot device, it is a catalyst for exploring identity, emotional resilience, and the profound impact of psychological pressure on personal relationships. Ultimately, the potential revelation that Jordan may be alive, whether true or a fabrication, places Claire in a crucible of emotional tension. The psychological strain could push her to the edge, forcing her to confront past trauma, question her reality, and navigate the delicate interplay of hope and fear. Audra's manipulations, if executed as anticipated, would please subscribe and like the video before continuing. Serve as both a dramatic spectacle and a catalyst for deep character exploration, making this storyline one of the most compelling arcs in recent memory. Fans can expect heart-stopping suspense, emotional turmoil, and unforgettable confrontations that will shape the trajectory of Claire's life, her relationships, and the dynamics of Genoa City for months to come. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Audra was livid over Holden's revelations. Tensions in Genoa City have reached a fever pitch as Audra Charles reels from the shocking revelations made by Holden Spencer. Sources close to the set confirm that Audra was visibly livid, her carefully maintained composure slipping in rare moments of fury as Holden's disclosures threatened to upend her plans. For fans of The Young and the Restless, this could signal the beginning of a dramatic cascade of events, with Audra's wrath directed squarely at Claire Grace and anyone else standing in her way. The episode promises explosive confrontations, emotional volatility, and the kind of high-stakes drama that keeps viewers riveted week after week. Holden's revelations have the potential to destabilize everything Audra has been orchestrating. Known for her strategic mind, Audra rarely loses control, yet the information Holden provided hits at her most vulnerable points: secrets she believed were buried, manipulations she assumed were untraceable, and power plays that could be undone by the truth. Her livid reaction is not merely a display of anger but a calculated response, signaling to those around her that any misstep will have consequences. The intensity of her emotions underscores just how high the stakes are and provides a glimpse into a side of Audra rarely seen, one fueled by a mixture of fear, frustration, and the raw drive to maintain dominance. For Claire, Holden's revelations are a double-edged sword. On one hand, they may provide her with critical information that could allow her to regain some control over her life and confront Audra more effectively. On the other hand, Audra's furious response signals that the game has just escalated, and Claire may find herself facing even more extreme psychological warfare. The tension between empowerment and vulnerability is at the core of this storyline, as Claire navigates the treacherous waters created by the collision of Holden's disclosures and Audra's unrelenting manipulations. The ripple effects of Audra's fury extend far beyond her immediate interactions with Claire. Kyle Abbott, deeply invested in Claire's well-being, is likely to witness firsthand the consequences of Holden's revelations and Audra's subsequent anger. Kyle's role becomes even more complicated as he attempts to protect Claire while also understanding the broader implications of the information revealed. His protective instincts clash with the reality that some battles cannot be fought through direct intervention alone, creating tension, emotional stakes, and compelling narrative complexity. Victoria Newman and Nikki Newman are also poised to react, caught between wanting to shield Claire from Audra's wrath and recognizing the potential opportunity to leverage Holden's revelations for Claire's advantage. Audra's livid response only heightens the urgency of their involvement, as they scramble to assess the situation, anticipate Audra's next moves, and determine how best to mitigate the damage. Their strategic thinking and emotional investment add layers to the unfolding drama, demonstrating the interconnectedness of Genoa City's residents and the ways in which one revelation can ripple through multiple lives and storylines. Audra's reaction to Holden's disclosures is not solely about maintaining control, it is also about asserting power, intimidating opponents, and signaling to everyone in her orbit that she remains a formidable force. Her fury, while directed at Holden, sends a message to Claire, Kyle, and other key players. She is aware of threats to her plans, and she will not hesitate to strike back. This moment reinforces the narrative that Audra's manipulations are deliberate, calculated, and ruthlessly executed, making her one of the most dangerous and unpredictable characters in Genoa City. The intensity of Audra's livid state provides a catalyst for several potential plotlines. Claire may seize the moment to confront Audra with newfound information, testing her resolve and resilience under pressure. Alternatively, Audra's fury could manifest in escalating psychological attacks, pushing Claire further into emotional turmoil, or even prompting public confrontations that draw in other characters and heighten the stakes. The unpredictability of Audra's next move ensures that viewers remain on edge, anticipating twists, reversals, and shocking outcomes. Audra's emotional volatility also opens the door to exploring her character more deeply. While her manipulative tactics have long defined her presence in Genoa City, moments of unrestrained anger and frustration reveal vulnerability, ambition, and a fiercely competitive nature. Holden's revelations act as a mirror, reflecting the limits of her control and the potential consequences of her past actions. These layers of characterization provide both context and tension, making the storyline as psychologically engaging as it is dramatic. The fallout from Holden's revelations is likely to impact Claire's mental and emotional state as well. Already struggling with Audra's manipulations, Claire may find herself grappling with conflicting emotions, the hope of having newfound leverage, the fear of Audra's retaliation, and the pressure of navigating complex family and romantic dynamics. Her reactions will drive the emotional narrative, offering viewers a window into the resilience, vulnerability, and resourcefulness that define her character. Every decision, hesitation, or emotional outburst has the potential to create ripple effects that extend across Genoa City, influencing relationships, alliances, and the balance of power. Audra's livid response may also catalyze a series of confrontations with other key players in Genoa City. Whether targeting Holden directly, leveraging information against Claire, or manipulating secondary characters to serve her agenda, Audra's wrath creates opportunities for dramatic conflict, suspenseful intrigue, and high-stakes storytelling. The emotional stakes are intensified by the fact that her anger is not random, it is targeted, purposeful, and informed by her strategic understanding of power dynamics, making every interaction loaded with potential consequences. This storyline highlights the psychological complexity of the young and the restless, where revelations, secrets, and manipulations intertwine to create deeply engaging drama. Audra's livid state following Holden's disclosures underscores the fragile balance of control, the consequences of exposure, and the intensity of interpersonal conflicts in Genoa City. For viewers, it offers a compelling exploration of human emotion under pressure, the unpredictability of manipulative behavior, and the challenges faced by those targeted by such tactics. In conclusion, Audra's fury in response to Holden's revelations sets the stage for high-stakes drama that could reverberate throughout Genoa City for weeks, if not months. Claire's position becomes increasingly precarious, Kyle is forced to navigate a minefield of emotional and ethical dilemmas, and the Newman family must balance intervention with strategy. Audra's reaction is a powerful reminder of her cunning, ambition, and ruthlessness, and it ensures that the storyline will be both suspenseful and emotionally resonant. Fans can anticipate explosive confrontations, tense psychological battles, and the dramatic unraveling of long-held secrets, making this arc one of the most compelling and unforgettable in recent memory.